in Austin, and of course Nigeria at large comes on board. Like they used to say, I work without playing means jacket or boy. But that's everything without sports. Makes me the dullest guy ever live it. Of course, I remain a Raymond to do that way. Sports Illuminator saying welcome on board. And I hope you guys will be keeping safe. Hope you are taking to every preventive measures. But this one will pass away definitely. COVID-19. We're not here to talk about COVID-19. We're here to talk about sports, development within the states. Everything you need to hear. What you can never see on net. And of course, last weekend. I wouldn't call it a series, but then it was part 1. And today will be part 2. And of course, he's back again as we conclude our discussion this week. So with me here again, Dr. Felix Owolabi, MON, who is back in the building of Pensioners FM to take a look at sports within the nation. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, my dear brother.
Once again, welcome on board.
Thank you.
I would say a very big thank you for granting our request yet again.
It's also a pleasure having me on your program.
Last week we talked a lot how he started his career, how it was then during his days, what are the effects, the negative this time around. But we're not going to that this time around. We'll look at something that happened way back in 1980, and of course his time at 3SC. It was an iconic time in his career. At the age of 36, he was bestowed with the honor of member of the Order of Nigeria, MON. He was part of the team that won the AFCON in 1980 right here in Lagos, and many more. But before we start fully, I want you to listen to these.
So throw into Nigeria. Amisimaka. And that's Owolabi, and it's in the net. It is a goal. Sheku got it. Can we take a look at that goal again? This is glorious. Let's take a look at that goal again. Well, players started again. Maybe we'll see that another time. Takes a very good chip. Waiting for a mistake. And a good one. Sheku Owolabi, and he puts it in there again. It is a goal. Sheku's second goal. And for the first time, guys have missed it again. So, Adoke, Amisimaka, Aloysius, and Keisima, and he's still going on. That's good squaring, a header, and it's almost got no. That was the chance by Fogo. No, Adoke. Several parts of the country. That's Christian Chuku. In Ghana. David Adele in Ghana. This is Africa Cup final, and Nigerians are having a really satisfying moment. Aloysius. Sheku. No, that's David. Beautiful play there by Muda. He just can't seem to take it easy. Muda is still going. Ooh! For that little lapse, Muda was going to waltz himself right into the net. He got a corner kick for it anyway. Well, that is the long blast of the whistle
to formally end the 12th African Cup of Nations.
The main bowl. This has been the most successful match Nigeria has played in all this series.
That was the 1980 commentary, the final. At that moment, Nigeria won the very first African Cup of Nations title. Come on, right there in Lagos. It was way back 20 years, 40 years ago. Sir, that match, I don't need to be telling you stories. It is you that will tell us stories right now. Because there's a lot to talk about. That was a moment. I was hearing names, Adokia Masiamaka, Christian Chuku, Kesima, you yourself, Shegon Egbami, and a lot of host of others then. How this team, the coach was Brazilian coach Otto Gloria. How did he manage to gather this sort of fantastic footballers then for leading us to success in Lagos?
Thank you very sincerely. In the first place, the destiny of every country's football lies in the local league. At that time, we had a very perfect, good local league during our era. The league was very, very thick. It was one of the best if not in Africa. At that time, nobody even wants to watch any foreign football except the local league. Remember the great teams like the Enugu Rangers, Shooting Stars, Mighty Jets of Jos, Bendel Insurance of Benin. And so what made it so thick at that time was that every weekend, all these teams, the Shooting Stars, Rangers, we always meet ourselves in the league. Is it in the FA Cup, the Challenge Cup? Very, very popular at that time. Even much than the league. So at every weekend we meet ourselves, we play together against ourselves and whatever. And if you look at that team, it was a very, very compact team. Players that were invited to the national team were not, far-fetched from the local league. It was not even much more than from 3-4 club sides. And the fact that we're always meeting each other at the club level, and when we were invited into the national team, it was so easy, I repeat, so easy, for any reasonable coach, any intelligent coach to be able to harness all the resources available as far as all these players are concerned, and make sure that, they nurture them, to the glorious hours like the Nations Cup in 1980. Besides that, the coach was one of the best in the world at that time.
Otto Gloria.
Otto Gloria. I remember in 1966, he took Portugal
to the third place.
To the third place
at the World Cup in England.
In England, the very first time England
hosted
and won it, just like our own case, the Nations Cup. He brought out the likes of Eusebio at that time.
Eusebio.
Nobody knew who Eusebio
the Black
was.
Panther, the man from Mozambique.
Very, very, very energetic, very skillful player at that time. So we had a very perfect coach, an experienced coach, somebody who was very versatile, very knowledgeable. So it was not too difficult for such a man to look at the potentials at his disposal and has nursed them to that glorious moment. Aside that, we were very, very, very matured. We've been together for a very, very long time. Remember that Ethiopia Nations Cup. I think that was the 10th African Cup of Nations. Then in 1978, the African Cup of Nations in Ghana. The same team
went.
Now came to be part of that Nations Cup. So we've gathered a lot.
It was a case of continuity.
Continuity was there. We have gathered a lot of
players.
Exposure. That's one, and then the experience was very, very versatile. So all these were key and harnessed together, made that Nations Cup in 1980 very,
Part of the team then, Ellie also, last month said winning that AFCON Nations Cup was like winning the World Cup. It means a lot. Even hearing on the ground, Well, here up Nigeria, it seems like the whole nation was very, very happy to have scaled that order and won the first Nations Cup for Nigeria. I mean, putting our name on the African continent finally. But then, looking at the team, let me first ask, was it like winning the World Cup for you? Just like Kenny Wosu said.
Well, as a young lad at that time, it was one of the...
It was 16 years that time.
Yeah, he was 16. And I was 20. I was about to be 26.
26, yes.
Time. And I want to tell you, since that cup, winning that cup was the first of its kind, not only for us as individuals or as a team, but for Nigeria as a nation. Having been into the various Nations Cup, if you look at the records, you know, the nation was not doing very, very well.
Definitely.
The very first time the nation, had something to show for was in 1976 when they came. Nigeria came third, and then in 1978 we came third again, and coming to host it in 1980. One, it was very, very historical because it was the first time Nigeria was hosting such a championship. And then two, it was also the very first time the nation won it for the very first time. For quite a very long time, the country was yearning for a laurel. A glory. Of that magnitude, which of course it was not coming until that year, 1980. So that makes it a very significant era at that time.
And it seems like it opened the floodgate of any kind of success, any other nationality we build on.
Yeah, so to say.
1976 we thought, definitely, like you said, 1978 in Ghana, third as well. So Austin in Lagos was a confidence booster because it was in front of the fan, and of course getting to the final. Now, what did Otto Gloria bring on board then? Because he's a Brazilian, so I expect some samba, Brazilian Celestial styles. Was that also available when he came on board?
You're absolutely correct. I remember when we first started the championship on the 7th of March in 1980. We had our first match against Tanzania. Although we won with a very wide margin, 3-1, but the fans and spectators were not comfortable. They were not happy. As far as they were concerned, they could not see the typical Odegbami style of football. Taking the ball onto the flanks and then mesmerize and get opponents at will, at random, and then put the ball at the back of the net. And then the type of kick and follow, from Okala to Odegbami, Owolabi, and the ball is in the net. That type of
the normal British style
changed. It was a different scenario at that time. Having to go under about 3 months, tour in Brazil, for a very, very long time. The style of play actually changed. And by the time we came to Lagos, it was the first match we now use as a forum to assess in totality how far we've been able to go as far as the Nations Cup was concerned, and then the training tour, what impact that we have been able to gain. People did not realize it because if you look at the Nations Cup, the matches, we started, we didn't start too well, but we won with a very wide margin, like I've told you. But then the crowd were yearning for a better performance from us. The attitude, the normal attitude of the matches we have been playing in the past, it was quite very, very different. But then they didn't know that we were growing from one match to another. That was exactly what happened. And by the time we got to the finals, we had already arrived. It was to say, look, now is the time to show the Nigerians that the effort of going to Brazil, had a great significance and impact on the team.
So that training tour was just a perfect recipe towards that victory in the tournament.
Our preparation was very fantastic. I think the very first time that I would want to say that the Eagles of our time had the best preparation for any championship.
Manchester City have the lead.
I think I would say for the time when the Eagles of our time had the best preparation for any championship. Of course, you can also be part of the program. Anywhere you are, you can watch us live on Facebook. Pensioners FM 106.7. Pensioners FM 106.7, and of course we'll be live. Or you can tell someone to tell someone. They can listen to us live. You can stream live as well. www.pensioners1067fm.com. Pensioners1067fm.com. Of course, you'll be live. Phone lines blinking, but it's not yet time to pick any call. Still on discussion. Still on the 1980 Green Eagles. The average age of that team should be, if I'm not wrong, 24, because the youngest was definitely Henry Wosu at the age of 18, and the oldest was Christian Chuku, age 29. And vertically, like you said, all are home-based players, except for Godwin Odie, who went to San Francisco Dons. Yeah. Was he a professional when playing, or it was just the fact that...
What happened in 1978, if you remember when Nelson Kanko said Nigerians call Nigeria, that header. Immediately after that tournament, he left, for the US, for studies in the university, one of the universities in America. But then, since he was part of the team at that time, I think that was when he was extended an invitation, to come home and then, be part of that team. So that was what actually happened. But unfortunately, Odie was not playing. He didn't play He was not playing professional football. He went there for studies. For studies. So when he came back, I think he was not in a top form like he was or he used to be
when he was still playing.
When he was playing, prominently at the local level here in Nigeria. So I think that atmosphere changed his rhythm.
All right. How can you rate the local league? Because almost maybe I should reel out some of the teams so that people can know. I mean, Shooting Stars had 4 players. That was Albest Ogedengbe. Shooting Stars, of course, I could see you yourself, of course, Shegun Odegbami also. I'm seeing 4 players. Then I see Enugu Rangers also having a couple of players. I think 4 as well. Then Benden Insurance, New Nigerian Bank, Raka Rovers, Taraba United, and Standard of Jos. So, the league then, how was it? I mean, to have gotten, this in the history of Nigerian football, these are legends founded, discovered within the local league. The league then, how was it running that makes it so great to have produced, because it's only a league that is good, that can produce this set of players, yes, not an archaic league. So how was that league so good? How good was it then that it produced champions?
In the first place, Shooting Star, the ICC of that time produced 6 players. John Orlando, Felix Owolabi, Shegun Odegbami, Late Modalawal, Tudebamidele, and then Besto Gedengbe. Now, you are asking why the league at that time was so thick. It was because at that time, like I've told you, there were what we called a brief history of our football at that time was very, very significant. Very significant. The grassroots development was very vital, was very, very key. And at that time, apart from having grassroots development, that you have to pass through the primary school, the secondary school, where there were various competitions. And then you remember a lot of competition in the secondary school. Even in the universities, there were various competitions. The university games, Nepoga games, the College of Education games, all these things were key to the development of the game. Not only even football, but sports generally. At that time too, there was a kind of collaboration between the National Sports Commission at that time, not the Ministry of Sports. I repeat, the National Sports Commission at that time, with various universities abroad, where most of our athletes, were asked to go there, not only for education, but also to get involved into sports. Like I told you, Odie after 78 left for US. He was playing, but the football in US at that time was not too mature, just like what it is today. So at that time, there was also a collaboration with the National Sports Commission and various countries' coaches. I remember Father Tico was brought from the Yugoslavia. We had almost about 11 Yugoslavian coaches who were spread across to the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. Some in the Kaduna zone, Kano zone,
different zones,
the Ibadan zone, and thereabout. Besides that, too, we had our local coaches, like the Nick Yakande and the likes of them. They were all sponsored by the State Sports Council for oversee training course. I remember Coach Yakande on 2 or 3 occasions went to Hungary. The late Josilad was in Brazil with the coach Onigbede and the likes of them. Unfortunately, this type of program is no longer very relevant. It's not existing. It's not happening. So at that time, it meant that every coach, most of the coaches were attached, the foreign coaches were attached to the various zones. And from these various zones, like I've told you also, we had our local coaches from the State Sports Council who were spread to all the various local governments of the states. And then they now have to report to the man at the center who is the head of the National Sports Commission. It could be your Tico, it could be that, it could be this, that. So I think there were very, collaboration, a perfect collaboration between them. So in every match, and as a matter of fact, nobody needs to tell you, there's a Challenge Cup match in the Ibadan or Lagos. People go to watch. At that time, the press were very, very fantastic. The publicity was just there, the exposing players. So it was not a matter of an armchair journalist who sit in Ibadan and want to ask somebody in Lagos to say, what was the outcome of the match? You will have to be there, watch the match, and then by the time you know what is happening at the end of the day, in the next few hours and days, on the pages of newspapers, radio and everything, you hear the names of these players. So even nobody needs to tell you. So at that time, it was even very easy for journalists to be able to assess in totality when there's going to be a match and who was going to play. Even the crowd, the masses, the supporters, the fans were so very used and close to these various teams that they, at times, they even want to query the coach. Why is so players not playing? Why is so player, part of the team?
Everything was knighted.
It was very encompassing. I think that is the right word I can use. Very, very encompassing. Everybody was fully involved. They want to be informed and get to know why a so player is not part of the team playing for a particular match. And like I've told you also, because the league was also very, very thick. Everybody, we had radio. People who want to listen to radio from the villages, the commentary, and in fact, that commentary in itself boosted the league, the spread and the importance of the league. It was like an identity. Somebody in Shaki, somebody in Erua, listen to the radio today, and by the time you know what is happening, the following week he wants to come and see the players live. And at that time, the players were not disappointed. We had quality players who were matured, players who grew, who came, who were nurtured from one grassroots developmental program to the other. So the idea of the player, failing to head the ball into the net, failing to kick the ball into the net, failing to score a vital goal at his disposal, it was fantastic.
Wow.
Everything was very, very tough.
All well planned.
Besides that, we had very good coaches, good playing grounds, massive crowd support, and everything. So in such an atmosphere, who is that player who wants to say he will not want to perform?
In such an atmosphere, who is that player who says he will not want to perform? 12:27 and still sport drill. I have with me former Nigerian international Dr. Felix Owolabi, Emohen. Still at the Nations Cup, sir. Was Nigeria the favorite going to the tournament?
Nigeria was not the favorite.
Or who are possibly the top three, the favorite or the top three favorites?
At that time, we had teams like Morocco, we had Ghana, we had Algeria, we had also Cote d'Ivoire. At that time, it was a 8 teams format, 4 in each group. That's 2 groups. Unlike today, that the number has
increased.
A greater percentage of people who were even very much interested watching Ibadan zone, because that was where the big teams, were very, very well. And they never gave Nigeria a chance. They never gave the Eagles a chance. Like even before the championship, there were a lot of crises. Like I've told you earlier in the last program, there were a lot of challenges coming back from Ghana in the 1978 Nations Cup. People felt disappointed. The crowd was not happy about our performance, but it was on a political something that caused our defeat in Ghana at that time. But nobody wanted to listen to that one. Even at that time when we came, the press, started writing sensational headlines. They are old. Google said this and that, disband them. This and that. Yes, at the time the team was disbanded, and that was when players like Stephen Keshi, Harry Wosu, and some few players from the junior team, came. They went on a training tour for almost about 2 months, played almost about 5 matches. I remember when Akpabot UI, one of the UI lecturers, it was an analyst, you used to write in one of these newspapers, When they came back, I think he was the person who wrote something about the team of that time and said, look, this is not the right team that can play in the Nations Cup. I think the best thing is for the nation's football body to call, the so-called Eagles of old back. And that was one of the reasons also that made us to, decide at the back of our minds that was going to be our final Nations Cup, even playing for Nigeria. Because the abuse was too much. In Nigeria, if you are not performing, nobody loves you. When you get it, that is where you are the friend to everybody. So we sum up the camaraderie and say, look, if we are to come back, I think let us do our best. More so when we are hosting it, and now it's an opportunity for us to get the cup. And if we are able to win, that should be there. And that was why immediately after the Nations Cup, a greater percentage of the players decided to retire.
Before we continue, sir, let's quickly go on a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll go back to what we've been discussing. It's still Sport Drill on Pensioners 106.7 FM.
Oúnjẹ lọ̀rí àwọ̀ a gbọ́dọ̀ jẹun tó dáa tí ó ṣara wa lóore ibì kan wà tẹ́tí lè jẹ oúnjẹ ayọ̀ tẹ́ ó gbádùn ara yín alámàlà restaurant náà ń pè é irúfẹ́ oúnjẹ wo lẹ́yìn fẹ́ bó ṣe oúnjẹ ìbílẹ̀ bí àmàlà ẹ̀bà fùfú sẹ̀mó àbí rẹsì àsáró mọ́ínmọ́ín àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ pẹ̀lú àwọn oríṣiríṣi ọbẹ̀ tó fi mọ́ tẹja tẹran kò tán síbẹ̀ o àwa náà látún ní Chop Easy tí ní pé ẹ kẹ́pẹ́ tẹlifóònù nọ́mbà wa ibi yòówù tẹ́ bá wà a máa gbóúnjẹ yín wá bá yín níbẹ̀ àtúndáná oúnjẹ fáwọn aláyẹyẹ pábánbárì bẹ̀ ni pé àtúntà àwọn oúnjẹ lẹ́jẹ̀wọ̀n eléyìí tí ò tí ì di sísè iṣu lẹ́fẹ́ ni ẹyin àwọn ohun èlò ìsebẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá tún ṣe fẹ́ sí a ó tún bá yín gbé wá Chop Easy àràkàn tún wà tá a tún ń dá àwọn frozen food tẹ́ bá fẹ́ chicken turkey ẹja ẹran ìgbín gbogbo àwọn jíjẹ tó ń ṣara lóore àwa náà ní kẹ́ẹ̀kan sí àyíká tó dùn wò tó mọ́ tónítóní ibẹ̀lẹ̀ ti lè rí àwọn oúnjẹ wa rà a wà ládojúkọ Àkóbọ̀ police station Àkóbọ̀ Ìbàdàn nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ pè wá sórí 08106314593 tàbí 08026004811 Chop Easy kí jíjẹ mímu já ìrọ̀rùn láyàn lọ́kùnkúndùn.
Àtótó arére gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ bíbí àti olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ kó jọ bí arélé ti yín o wípé a ti ní ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ coronavirus nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ṣùgbọ́n ẹ má mi kàn táwọn wíjí lásánlàsàn tó fẹ́ rápálá wọnú omi tuntun tóró nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ní COVID-19 kí gbogbo wa ó kọjú oró sí ló lè mú kégun rẹ̀ ó má ṣẹyọ mọ́ nípínlẹ̀ wa bí ẹ bá ti ń tẹ̀lé àwọn ìlànà wọ̀nyí fọwọ́ rẹ lóòrèkóòrè pẹ̀lú omi tó mọ́ tónítóní àti ọṣẹ lo tissue paper láti máa fi bo imú rẹ fi ìgúnpá rẹ dí gàgà imú tí o bá fẹ́ sín tàbí wúkọ́ yàgò fún ẹni tí ìlera rẹ̀ bá ń ṣe fíagan dúró sílé yẹra rẹ sọ́tọ̀ bí o bá ti ń kẹ́fín àìsàn kan lágọ̀ọ́ ara rẹ má ṣe fọwọ́ kan imú tàbí ojú àti ẹnu rẹ bí ọwọ́ rẹ kò bá mọ́ tónítóní ẹ yàgò fún dídì mọ́ra ẹni lákòókò yìí tàbí bíbọra ẹni lọ́wọ́ ṣe gààyà fún àpéjọpọ̀ ènìyàn tàkété sí ẹlòmíràn ní bí ẹsẹ̀ bàtà 6 bí ẹ bá ti wá kẹ́fín àwọn ìlera bíi òtútù orí fífọ́ ara gbígbóná ikọ́ gbígbẹ àìlèmí jálẹ̀jákè sísín lóòrèkóòrè ẹ tètè yà kàn sí àwọn ojú òpó pàjáwìrì tíjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi síta o 08095394000 tàbí 08095863000 ẹni tí yóò jagun ìlú àṣàmú ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹnu ṣámúṣámú ń ló fa ìgbésẹ̀ ọgán yìí o omi tuntun ti rú nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ kò ní gbẹ lójijì ṣe ìmọ́tótó ara rẹ láti dènà àìsàn kòrónà coronavirus. Ìkéde ìwá látọ̀dọ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ State COVID-19 Task Force.
They've got plenty forward. Ronaldo's up as well.
Welcome back from that short break. Definitely need to pay some bills. The bills keep us going. So welcome back to Sport Drill. I see how we meet Dr. Felix Owolabi. We're discussing the 1980 AFCON victory right in Lagos. So what do you count as the? I mean, okay, you are explaining that most of the core players after the Nations Cup left the team due to the abuse from, I mean, the nation in general. What would you take as the toughest game of the tournament for Nigeria?
As far as I'm concerned, like I've told you, we found all our matches very, very easy. But the only area or the aspect that we felt the difficulty was the weather. Because in most of the matches we played, it was at 2 p.m. under an intensive, extreme, hot weather. But then, by the special grace of God, we were able to adjust. I think the only team that I could say gave us one of the toughest matches was Côte d'Ivoire. At the time, we were very lucky. The late best Ogedengbe had to save that surprise shot against Côte d'Ivoire. Otherwise, probably, if we had lost that match,
that was in the group stage.
That group stage, it was the second match we played, and that will have been the end of the whole era. Because you know, a typical Lagos fan, not always want defeat. All they're after is all we are saying: give us more goals, and then win. And that was the logo for you as far as the Lagos fans were concerned. But we thank God that we're able to skate through that match. It was the only match we drew. But for the rest, against
Egypt 1-0, Morocco, semi-final 1-0.
And then coming to the final, we roasted
Algeria.
Surprisingly by
3 goals to nothing.
It's up the arm.
Lagos fans. I remember year 2000, Nigeria hosting alongside Ghana. The match against Congo was 2-2 draw. And immediately, saw the fans throwing water bottles on the pitch. And I was like,
during the round,
Kanu coach and the like. I was like, these guys won the first game. This is just a second game. Anything could happen. But Lagos fans was just listening at that point in time. They needed the victory.
Win.
And football, you can only lose, draw, win. You can't always get it right. It's called a goal in the semi-final against Morocco. How did you feel scoring that goal in the 9th minute? And that was it.
I felt on top of the world, and as a midfielder, scoring a goal also meant the comfortability and giving you the absolute confidence to you want to do better. The ball came from a rebound, during a goal-man scramble, about 25 to 30 yards. And I just felt there was a need for me to, in the midst of about almost a whole crowd, in the 18 meters box. I just felt I targeted that corner, and to God be the glory, that was exactly what...
9th minute, and that was over.
Yes,
that was the end. So you can't be part of the program definitely now. Phone lines officially opened. We've been talking about the 1980 AFCON victory. 0908 111 1067, 0908 111 1067, or 0808 010 1067, 0808 010 1067. You can send messages on WhatsApp 0902 672 1042. Your opinion, of course, maybe you have 1 or 2 questions for Dr. Felix Owolabi. Definitely, I'll pick our calls and, of course, read our messages. We'll go straight to your time at 3SC of Ibadan. A lot of people have used with the Super Eagles story, Green Eagles stories then. Now, this 3SC of Ibadan, your time at 3SC, the achievement and how good 3SC was then. You said they provided 6 players for the national team. And I know 3SC have provided more players over the years for the national team. 3SC, so good a team. How was your time there? Challenges and so on and so forth.
Incidentally, the ICC at that time was so synonymous with good and quality players. So honestly, any other player, playing for any club would love to want to associate with such a big club like that. The ICC was a big club. Incidentally, the club had just won the Winners' Cup in 1976, and thereafter, most of the players seems to have been told that they are old and they cannot longer play, and so there was a need for a replacement, for such players. At that time, I was already in the national camp I was playing for Raka Rovers then, up north. And I remember it was in 1978 when we went for the second All-African Games, where we came second. Chief Lekan Salam, the late Chief Lekan Salam, was a member of the Nigerian Football Federation there. Initially, they never knew I was a Yoruba boy. It was in the camp. I was always a lone ranger, and until when Mother got to identify me as a Yoruba boy. So, to cut the long story short, that was when everything started. They had to tell Chief that this gentleman is a Yoruba boy. We love that you know him to
be part.
Because we were very, very close to each other. Because the atmosphere in the national team was so friendly. There was no discrimination. There was too much of solidarity. We loved each other. And then one statement they made that made me to come was that look, the Rangers stands for the Igbo race. ICC
stands
at
for
that time then also stands for the Yoruba. So why are you going far from?
Come back home.
So come back home. At that time too, like I've told you, it was school football. So I just sort of look at it and said, wow, I think this is an opportunity anyway. More so when I was at the University of Lagos, I just felt that there was need for me to be nearer to Lagos, to the southwest here. Every time having to travel a very long distance from Kano to Lagos and this and that. It was even too exhausting, too burdensome, tiring. So I just felt it was an opportunity. I said, okay, if that be the case, let me join them, so that at least I will have much time to concentrate on
what
studies at the University of
Lagos.
And that was how. But then Segun Odegbami played a prominent role. Modala, that was best, and then later the captain of the team at that time, Ojebode, Sam Ojebode. As players, how you love each other. It's just like what is happening today amongst all these big clubs.
Definitely.
In Europe and even in Nigeria.
Oh.
So at times you look at certain players who are in a particular club that will give you the, go ahead and say, okay, this and that. And that was all. So, but then I had already joined them, but I could not play any championship or any competition because I had already registered for Raka Rovers at the end of this season. And that was how it is.
So that was what year?
I joined them in 1977.
1977.
From the national team.
Wow.
Oh. Bogdanovic.
So what was the rivalry like? Rangers and Shooting Stars. What was the rivalry like? Because growing up, a lot of stories, Rangers, Shooting Stars, Loggerheads, rivalry. It was like possibly the biggest match in Nigerian Premier League then. What was the rivalry like?
For me, I think the crowd, always dictates, there's something. And then even the press too. It is the press that will have to, like I say, sensational publication. They have, Rangers, Shooting Stars, Liberty Stadium will burn today. Sensational write-ups and whatever. And then for us, it was the ordinary. It's like the normal thing we are going to do. It's a responsibility. We are playing against Rangers. It's not a big deal. Go to the pitch, do the best, win our match, and whatever. That was all. We were not after I am better than you, we are bigger than you, or whatever. It's just like trying to go and do the normal thing. You have given a responsibility, be up to that responsibility, and that was all. But for the crowd, for the supporters and fans,
it was beyond football.
It meant a lot for them. Like I've told you, If Chief Leko Salami could tell me that the Shooting Stars, the ICC, stands for the Yoruba race, it meant a lot. It meant a lot. So it would just be like Rangers, Igbo against
versus Yoruba.
But for the players, it was not like that.
Okay. So it was just normal playing football.
Normal game.
But then the fans...
Just like you are talking of Real Madrid and Barcelona. When it comes the two teams, it is not the players who are fighting, but it's the fans. And the supporters. So that was how we saw it as the normal game that we play. And besides that, if we fight at the club level, what happens when we get to the national team? So we were never like that. I think our mindset at that time was to enjoy the game. And get the best for ourselves, and particularly for the club too, that we stood for.
Enjoy the game. Get the best for yourself, especially for the club it stood for. 0908 111 067 or 008 010 1067, or you can send me a message on WhatsApp 0902 672 1042. Still sport drill. History added that you won the CAF Cup in 1992. The journey to winning that was the only intercontinental trophy Tigres won then. The journey to winning then, I think I somewhere listened to how Ogedegbe did some magic in. I've forgotten now. I want you to just put us through that 1992 team of Shooting Stars, getting the victories away to some North African teams that I know is very difficult to get results away from, and down to Ibadan. The whole thing that wrapped up the victory.
It's a long story. Incidentally, I want to tell you that I was the only local champion in the team.
Then
the oldest player, the matured player. Teams at one time or the other, it's either they are doing well, it's either they are not doing well. I remember in 1991 to tell you that I think it was just by the grace of God that I became part of that team. I had some challenges with the club, and one day I went to the stadium, this same Adama Stadium, and by the time I knew what was happening, I was given a letter, and they said, go back to the office, they are doing reorganization. And at the end of the day, I just got to know that the reorganization they said they were doing was just solely about Felix Owolabi and nobody else.
Wow.
I took it as a challenge and went to the office. Unfortunately, throughout that time, they were preparing for the league season, did this and that. Nobody was the coach there. And at the end of the day, what happened? They went out, played a lot of friendly matches. The very first day I left that place, they started losing all their matches. Is it friendly match? Even the league. That was when they now decided to say, what can we do? And Druti, one player from Sokoto, whatever, I've forgotten the name of that club in Sokoto, Texas or whatever. They were trying to get players, but then it was too late for the team. But towards the tail end, Shooting Stars was even at the bottom of the league in 1991. So everybody now said, okay, at the end of the day, the pattern had to change. They said they wanted Josilai to come and take over the reins of the club. And all Josilai told them was that if you want me to come, you have to bring Felix Owolabi back.
Bring him back.
It was for whatever reason, I don't know. And at the end of the day, it came to me, and I had to succumb to the pressures at that time, honestly speaking. And that was how I came again, and we started, and everything was going fine with the club. By the time we know what was happening, the club that was second to the last was already in the middle and even trying to contest
for the league
title. And that was how everything happened. At the end of the day, the club came second. And it was that year that the late Chief M.K. Abiola, who was then the pillar of sports in Africa, said he wants to introduce another championship for Africa.
Okay.
All second teams in the league all over
can participate in that.
Will play in that championship. But that was how Shooting Stars,
won the very first edition.
Qualified to play in that CAF Cup. And incidentally, to God be the glory, Shooting Stars became the only club side that won something for the first time. And at that time, too, I was so shocked that despite the fact that most of these players were not as matured as I was, they were fantastic. You know, the cooperation was just there. We all going, winning away matches, home matches, and then I think it was only one match I can remember at the Liberty Stadium that we drew. And everybody thought that the team from that, North Africa, East Africa, was going to beat us because at that time, in most cases, home invisibility was always there as far as African football is concerned. But to God be the glory, we got there and we drew before we now came home. You remember at the time when we in the semi-finals, we went to Etoile de Sahel. They gave us 2-0.
Away from home?
11 of our players, we came to Las Palmas in Italy, and then everybody, they ran away. So it was also a challenge.
Wow.
Very challenging. At that time, we had an outstanding match against ACB of Lagos. On a Wednesday, everybody came to the stadium to see the dilapidated team that will play against
Etoile de Sahel.
Haven't, considered 2 goals. How we were going to do it, they want to see it from what we are going to do from the ACB match. As we won that match 1-0. I think I scored the goal. And to God be the glory, on that Saturday, when this team came, I scored 2 goals from the corner kick. 2 goals.
Straight from the corner kick.
Straight from the corner kick, I remember. And Ususu, we had a penalty the last about 5 minutes to the end of the game. Ususu took it, and then the ball went into the net. And that was how we went to the finals and played against Nakibuvu of Uganda. We went there, drew with them. At that time, MK Abiola said he was going to come and visit us. If we were able to beat them, he would give us $1,000.
$1,000?
Every player. Unfortunately, it was that week that he lost his wife. He lost his wife that time, so he could not come. Ambassador Olushola was the ambassador in Ethiopia at that time, who came to tell us that story. He was that something. So we came to Ibadan, and then, God be the glory, like I've said, we defeated the Nakibuvu 2-0. And I just felt I had had enough because of the political something that was going on. I just felt I was enough. Yes, I could go further, but I felt that, look, enough
is enough.
Enough is
15 years.
And that was how I decided to call it quits.
And all the way to call it quits when the ovation is as loudest.
They've got plenty forward.
A lot of talk, definitely. I got 1 or 2 more questions for you, sir. The team, back to the national team now. 1980 team and 1994 team. Any difference between both teams?
Number one, there's a similarity between the 1980 team and the 1994 team. And the similarity is just that the 2 coaches concentrated solely on the local league players. I remember Westerhoff, when he came, I think the only European coach that was also, took much time, having much interest in the local leagues, and he was going around to pick players. So he concentrated solely on the local league players, just like Otto Gloria and
Let's quickly build this score.
Yeah. So, number one, the similarity is that the two experienced coaches, rely solely on the local
league.
The players. In terms of difference, I think in our own time, we had more quality players, individual players, who could single-handedly, the 1980 team, who could single-handedly
win a game.
When the chips are down, win a game for the
team.
It was not depending on, is it Rashidi Yekini?
DJ Kucha?
No. Shegun could score, Adokie could score. Chuku, a free kick is in the net. Odegbami getting it. A free kick and whatever. Muda, like that.
So it was
free. If you look at the Nations Cup team in 1980, most of the goals came from our defense. Okay, Simon scored a goal. I scored a goal, a midfielder. Muda, a striker. And then Shegun Odegbami. And then Onye Dika. So, from the defense to the attack. Every individual, played a very prominent role. And every individual at that time could score. So our team, or the team of my generation, the 1980, was very, very unique.
Very, very unique. Lastly, sir, on during the week, Daniel the Bull Amukachi came out and said John Mikel Obi is the greatest Nigerian player ever. We agree with him that John Mikel Obi is actually the greatest. Or should we put in context what determines the greatness of a player?
That's exactly what I want to ask. Who is a great player? Who is a great player? A great player is that player who has seen it all from the grassroots. For example, if you come to there's a place I call the Hall of Fame. From primary school, I had medals, secondary school medals, university medals, from various competitions, awards, and whatever. A great player is that player who, from the beginning of his career, had won as many laurels as possible. To declare, to determine, to identify such a player as being great. The only greatest player of this planet that I can vouch and, lay claim to is Kimpele. A player since 1958, when he was about 15 or 17 years old, till 70, won 3 World Cups. So who could? And being also a great player does not necessarily mean on the pitch. What is your attitude? What is your character in and out
Of the pitch.
Those are determining factors. Very, 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 very key. Yes, Mikel Obi is a player. As a teacher, I don't determine between two, because every individual has his own uniqueness and potentials. So for you now to compare, you can only appreciate. I think that is the right word.
You cannot
go into controversy to say one player is better or the best than the other.
Wow. You've had it all from him. The concluding part, definitely. And of course, that would definitely be the show today. 12:55 already. So thank you so much, sir, for coming on board once again. It's my player.
Also, thank you for having me.
Definitely you've been listening to Dr. Felix Owolabi, MON, former Nigerian international, former 3SC international player, part of the 1980 team, and of course the 1992 CAF Cup team. I've been talking a lot since last week and the concluding part today. Many thanks to everybody who has listened on Facebook, live stream live. And of course, thanks to my producer, Babatunde Tiamiyo. And of course, to my DCL duty, Babatunde Obidei. Abafemi Obidei, rather. Like I used to say, sport is life, always endeavor to exercise your heart. I remain a Raymond Torilok. Well, of course, I'm going to leave you with this music. It's a champion song. Of course, I had a champion in the building. Champion remix.
Can he make it 1-0 to Roma? He can, emphatically. Kolarov gives the Giallorossi the lead in the Derby della Capitale. Can he equalise here on the turn?
Bevwe, roll the carpet, guide that was the depth, the general fight for Basco, champion tune to heaven, welcome, Nato Z, Kitty the Kitterman, Sasha P, Yakurin, Mentor the Viper, ready or not, champion league season 1.
Let me love a Holly for me, Jabba. Let me love a new game, get that
grimo go. Obo beyan koja banki gbogbo le. Ayi ọmọdé àgbàlagbà everyday. Emo Barack Obama yemi ni Barack Green. Igboro street e believe fa ile win. Emi ni champion kere koro be scorpion. Shadu ba won be lion mo monu be beyond.
Critics be talking like I sound like ho. Forgetting I'm the hottest shit, I'm hotter than the stove. I was raised in the barracks, this shit was kinda sick. Now I stand like Candle in 1.96. BEC, kiss a champion. My silence brag loud, what type of amp he on? I'm too hot, I could give the sun a 10. Now I'm number one, something like 10 over 10. Divide that.
I am a born champion.
Your name can be special.
You are a born champion, yeah.
Limitless, limitless.
We are the born champion now.
Undisputed soldiers.
This is the song for the champion.
I'm a champion like Usain Bolt. I'm guessing it's the swagger and Channel O.
Yes, we are champions, and champions was in the studio today. I'm talking about no other person but Dr. Felix Owolabi, MON, a former Nigerian international and a player for the Shooting Stars Football Club of Ibadan. On the show, Sports Drill with the Sports Illuminator, Raymond Tululokwe. The show comes back next week at the same time from 12 to 1 in the afternoon. And of course, we thank everyone who has listened in on the program. This is Pensioners 106.7 FM. Barigo Onirike Baro.
Looking for that radio station that will serve you better.
Best of sports, entertainment, you go know we be master.
Information, education, now we get to make it era.
Enter the place, we set the pace, so you come follow in the race and say
Abarigo Onirike 106.7.
Pensioners FM. What's a vibration? Ikoni Abalode. Pensioners FM.
Abarigo Onirike 106.7.
Pensioners FM. What's a vibration? Ikoni